Hi guys, hope you're doing well this week. Make sure that if you get a chance, try to meet us between 12:45 and 1:15. Mondays is second period, Tuesdays is fourth period, Wednesdays is fifth period, Thursdays are sixth period, and Fridays is seventh period. I miss seeing your faces, so I'd really like to see you guys. And I also can help you out, or we can just talk and see how things are going. You can use it to talk with your friends. The agenda for this week is first off to watch this video. So this is the first one. Try taking notes over the video. I am doing some problems that are directly going along with the quizzes and going along with the worksheet that I sent out. So make sure you guys are taking notes on that. Now, once you're done with the notes in the video, make sure that I'm sending out a worksheet. The worksheet you do not have to turn in. I also sent out my work and the answer key to it. So I want you guys to do it yourself and then look at my work to see if it was done correctly and then correct anything that you guys might have missed. After that, I want you to go on and do your quizzes game again this week. You'll probably have to create an account. The code is 322254. Make sure that you have a pen or a pencil and paper ready before you take the quizzes, and try to have a calculator ready as well. That will help you. Let's move on. Today we are discussing, my notes are going to be discussing exponents. So first thing I want to describe what an exponent is. I just use this a to the power of n because it says that a is the base. It doesn't have to be an a there. It could be a 1, it could be a 2, it could actually be an a, or it could be an x, it could be any letter. N represents the power or the exponent. This is stated as a to the power of n. This is how you say exponents. It's a to the power of n. Again, a is the base, n is the exponent. Okay, we're going to first go over multiplying powers of exponents. When you multiply, this is multiplying. You guys, you really want to think about multiplying exponents. It doesn't mean that you're actually multiplying those. It actually means that you're going to add the exponents. But in order for this to work, the bases have to be the same. Do you see how the base is a for both of these? So you would do a and then m plus n. Now let's do a little example. The base on this one is x, so the base is matched. You can't do it unless the base is matched. Okay, x for this one. So what you're going to do is x, and then you add 5 plus 3, because you're adding the exponents with multiplication. I know you want to multiply, but I promise it's adding exponents with multiplication. You got to remember that one, which will give you x to the 8th. Which, the reason why this works is because this is saying that x is happening 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're multiplying x 5 times. And then this one is saying that you're multiplying x together 3 times. And in total, the amount of x's that you have are 8 x's. That is how it works. That's the reason why we're doing it as adding. Because when you're actually multiplying all those x's, you're just kind of counting up the total number of x's that there are. Okay, let's do some examples here. Here, the first one. The example is 2 times 2 squared times 2. Notice there's not an exponent on there. When there's no exponent visible, this is really important to know, there's actually always a 1 there. They just don't write the 1. And you guys, if there's something that's left over with an exponent of 1, you do not write it. You just leave it without an exponent showing. Okay, so what this is saying, your bases all match of 2. You always need to check, do your bases match? Yes. So it's 2. Then you take the exponents and add them. 1 plus 2 plus 2. So you have 1 plus 2, which is 3, plus 2 is 5, so it's 2 to the 5th. And that is your answer. You're just adding the exponents. Okay, on the next one, we have the numbers out front. Do these match? They don't. But since they're just numbers, we can multiply them together. So 2 times 5. And then we have the bases of the n's that do match. So we just write one n, not both of them. Kind of like here, we just left it with 1, 2. One n, but you have to add together the two exponents. 4 plus 4. So you multiply 2 times 5, which is 10, n to the 8th, and that's your answer. Okay, same thing here. Let's look at what bases we have. Well, we have two bases, we have the base of 9s that match, and there are, remember there's always that invisible 1, so it's 1 plus 1. Then you have the x's that match. Again, this one has a 1 by it because it doesn't have anything written there. 1 plus 5. And then you have the y's. Y, 2 plus 2. Okay, then we're actually going to add them. 1 plus 1 is 2. X, 1 plus 5 is 6. And y, 2 plus 2 is 4. I would accept this as an answer, but since you are able to actually find 9 squared, 9 squared is 81, because it's 9 times 9 is 81, you could also have the answer of 81x squared y to the 4th. Okay, let's look at the next set of problems. Now these are problems that I took directly from your assignment and directly from the quizzes, so that you can write them down and you'll see them. Now I want to note the difference between these two problems. Notice, the base and the exponent is inside the parentheses here. But here, just the base is inside the exponents. This actually means something really important. And it's actually going to mean a whole lot more when you get to high school, because you're going to have some more complex problems. But this means something different. What this means is that you have the base of just 5. Okay, your base is just 5. You still have to multiply. What's a negative times a negative times a negative? Well, a negative times a negative is a positive times a negative, which gives you a negative. So it's negative. And then you have, because you actually have to multiply those negatives and figure out what it is. We do not multiply 5s because 5s are your bases, and your base always just stays the same with 1. You just add the exponents. 3 plus 8 plus a negative 2. So we have our negative 5 here, and then we add 3 plus 8, which is 11, minus 2, which is 9. Now look at this one. Here, this is saying that the base is actually negative 2. By having the parentheses around everything and the exponents outside, this is saying the base is a negative 2. So that means you do not want to change what's inside there at all. You have to always keep the base the exact same. And then you just add together the exponents. 3 plus 6. So it's going to be negative 2 to the 9th. But you have to leave that parentheses in there. That parentheses is important in that final answer. Okay. Let's go on to the next thing. We are dividing. Okay. Here is the key with division. Again, they're saying A is the base here. A doesn't have to be your base like you saw before. It could be an X, or it could be a Y, or it could be a number. The key is that the bases are the same. The bases are both A's. What this says is that you're subtracting. And I always think about it as subtracting up, or else subtracting to the biggest number. So you subtract m minus n. Okay, now let's see an example of this. Here, the bases are both y's, and so what you do is you bring just the exponent up and subtract, because you're bringing it to the bigger number. So it is 5 minus 2, which is 3. That's all you have to do, is y to the 3rd. Okay, let's do a couple more. Now, there's also something else important. These are fractions here. You need to reduce the fractions. So what number goes into both 18 and 10? 2 goes into both 18 and 10. So what you need to do is you need to reduce 18 by dividing it by 2. And you need to reduce the 10 by dividing it by 2. You have to look to see what the greatest common factor is that goes into both of them. and divide it by that. Next, then you can see that the x's are the same. So you're going to subtract the 3. So it's going to be x3 minus 3. There is no match to y, so the y to the 8th just stays where it is. So now let's do our calculations. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 is the only thing that's on the bottom. What's 3 minus 3? 3 minus 3 is going to get you 0. That means that there are 0 x's left. And it actually tells you that it's got a value of 1. It does not have a value of 0. Anything to the 0 power has a value of 1. So that means that this just kind of is multiplied by 1. But if we know anything, 9 times 1 is just 9. So we don't actually have to leave that in there. So what's left is just y to the 8th. Okay, next, let's move on to the next one. Again, we have our problem. We have to look to see can we reduce this? What goes into 12 and 9? We know 3 does, so it's going to be 12 divided by 3, 9 divided by 3, and then we have x to the 3rd. If you notice, these bases do not match, so you can't do anything with them. You actually have to just leave them alone since they don't match, and all you can do is reduce this fraction. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And this is all you can do. There's your answer. Let's do one last one. Okay, what goes into 35 and 7? Well, we know 7 goes into both of them, so 35 divided by 7 and 7 divided by 7. Here we have x minus 3 and x9. These bases match, but here's the key. When you subtract up, that negative out front does not go away. It's still 9 minus a negative 3. And remember, when you have a minus and a negative, those come together as a big plus sign. Okay? So 9 minus a negative 3 is like adding them. Well, 35 divided by 7 is 5. Okay? 9 minus negative 3 is like adding, so it's going to be x to the 12th. And then 7 divided by 7 is 1, so the whole thing is going to be over 1. But we don't have to write the over 1, we can just write 5x to the 12th. Okay, I hope this video has helped you. Please email me if you need anything. I miss you guys.